circle from all that's stressed. We trust the guardians, trust the guides, trust the open and what's inside. When the moon is high, it's time to fly. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Let's get disengaged, time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. When you feel like you've had enough and the week was busy and tough, you need a break, you need some fun, you need to take time from the run. We'll blow your mind, we're just in time. Seek and ye shall find. Time to unwind, let's get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. Aliens, ghosts, spirits and shadows, spirituality, ultra reality, the Bible, the pagans, all the conspiracies, tarot, astrology, and alternate history. Open your heart to other possibilities and get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged, 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 disenraged.
Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi, Karlyn. I'm good. How are you?
I am tired. I am tired. I am
Long day.
exhausted. I am tired of people being dumb on the internet. I'm so tired of people being dumb. I'm just like, I'm opting out of all of this now. And do you know, so I've started to use LinkedIn recently. And I used to use LinkedIn a lot. I used to have a LinkedIn Pro account and all this stuff. I got a lot of sales for my consulting business on LinkedIn and all this stuff. And then I stopped using it after I got into politics. So I was like, this isn't really a politics site and I don't want to talk about politics on LinkedIn. And so I just stopped using it for a long time. And I recently decided, like, why don't I just tiptoe back in, because I want to try to make something of this decode the left thing and providing like, and that is actually, it's a professional thing. It's it's analysis, it's a consultancy. And so I started the LinkedIn profile up again, and I've been treading so lightly. I'm being like, I'm nonpartisan. I think everyone is crazy. I literally hate everyone. Do you understand that I hate everyone? And like, I'm being so nice about it. And so what happens today? But a Democrat comes into my comments, and I know I have a lot of Democrat connections from like my previous life when I built my entire LinkedIn profile. And a Democrat came in and she was like, oh, what sources do you use? Breitbart and Drudge? And I was like, no, I don't use Breitbart.
I am the source, bitch.
I am the fucking source. It is more likely that Breitbart or Drudge is going to report on me than I'm ever going to use something from Breitbart or Drudge. And she just wasn't getting it. And I was like, nah, but I was so nice about it. I was like, I use primary sources. I go right to the source. I record them. You can like, it's all over here. You can judge for yourself. And she's like, so what authors do you use? And I was like, bitch.
What authors do you use?
When I am the author.
I wrote the book.
Literally multiple.
I wrote all the books.
Literally. I was like, oh man. I was like, people are so dumb. I can't stand it. Anyway, that's been my life lately. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, more or less.
Yeah.
I got my the seed bearer back from my editor today.
Ooh. How did
Yeah.
that
So,
That was a big day.
well,
The
she's
seed bearer. That name is just too on the nose, Jennifer. The seed bearer? Really? The seed. What does the cover look like?
oh, I'll show
The
you.
seed bearer. Oh
It's a
my
really nice
god.
cover.
I'm sure it's a beautiful cover. I just the seed bearer.
Why are you laughing? Okay, now wait a minute. I have shared the
I,
title
I
of that with you before.
I know, but it just hit me in a different way. It's like sometimes we process information differently depending on our level of exhaustion, okay?
Oh, I understand completely. All right, let me see if I can.
I'm
It's
just
in
like, I
settings,
want to
right?
see some big Fabio guy on this cover being like the seed bearer and totally bearing his chest with like the shirt like wafting in the wind with ruffles and all this. That's what I'm visioning right now. I'm sure it's not like that at all, but that is the image that's in my head. The seed bearer.
Okay,
Oh, this is the alien one. That's right. Okay. This is the one that should have been the House of the Golden Bed, and you
yes.
changed it to the seed bearer, which is an inferior title. Okay, fine.
Fine.
I didn't put the two and two together. Okay, this is.
It's okay.
I'm tired.
You obviously need to off gas, a little tension, get that laughter going,
Yeah.
loosen it up a little, laugh it all. It's totally fine.
That is
I
a funny
understand.
title, though. I will say that is a funny title.
It's actually an official title.
Oh, it's an official title. What's the difference between an official title and an unofficial title?
An official title means that it's got the well, it has to do with capitalization actually. But if you're gonna split,
Really?
yeah, it does. But it's
Okay.
a title. In other words, it is an actual position of honor in this culture. It's
An official title in the like king.
yes, it's
Okay,
like
I got it.
the news gossip spreader. I don't know. That was a
So
terrible.
he's the impregnator of the humans.
She's the seed bearer.
That would make more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, she has the holy cup. But
The holy cup.
okay,
Like
wait,
the holy grail.
Jesus, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of about it's a romance first and foremost, but it is about sex trafficking and human rights. And you would really love this book because because I wrote it while we have been interacting.
Yeah.
I have very carefully and gently laid ideas about how you cannot develop a system based on what you think is good for every single person, because we happen to be individuals. And the
Wow.
people who are the grunts, also, or who are perceived as the grunts, ultimately end up getting the shaft, and they get the worst treatment and are turned into the slaves, which is what happens to seed bearers if things don't go well.
Wow.
I just really think you should read this book. You'd like it very much. And there's
should
a
read the
very
book.
interesting penis in it.
Oh, well, I know you drew us the penis before. We've had extensive
This is a different one.
there's a different dick now. Okay.
Yeah, this one it's like a 3-petal. It opens at the end.
What?
Yeah.
A 3-petal?
Like there's kind of a knob, and then it kind of like opens like an iris flower blooms, or like a lily.
I don't know if I like this at all. That would be very uncomfortable. What are you talking about? Like it opens while it's inside, and then it.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those when he gets when he's about to deposit his seed, that kind of pops open.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Foreskin petals, yes, mistaken, exactly. But there's bumps on the shaft, she wants to know about the shaft. There are bumps on the shaft. It's bumpy.
There would have to be, wouldn't there?
Ridged for her pleasure, but more bumpy though. So, my other alien dick was ridged. I thought maybe do bumps this time.
That's gonna make anal really much more difficult than it needs to.
I did not go to the anal club in this book.
All right. Well, on that note, talking about anal sex with alien ribbed dick.
Well, I mean, imagine if it's not, if you're nodding a little. I mean, if it doesn't open until you're inside, and then I mean,
I'm still saying that would be uncomfortable if it was. I'm just saying.
Lube is a beautiful thing. I
Guess
don't
so.
know. I wouldn't know. I've never slept with this particular species.
Well, that'll be a new adventure for another time.
Anyway, it's about sticking it to the man is what this book is actually about. And I think
speaking about sticking it to the man, do you want to talk about Jesus?
Speaking of radicals.
Speaking of radicals. We are watching Jesus tonight.
We're not watching Jesus. We're listening to. He'd be laughing his ass off.
Look, even please. John Morgan is calling us a heathen. Okay, he's calling us heathens. Jennifer.
Oh, John, you little pure thing.
He's gonna be calling us pagans next.
He knows I'm a pagan. That's totally yeah, so let's talk about radicals, shall we?
Let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about we are continuing with our channeling Eric marathon that we started not last week but the week before, because we took last week off for dog related reasons, and so now we're back, and my dog is still with us because I'm still wearing her dog collar around as I am. And my other dog, like anytime like he comes up to sniff, he like sniffs the collar, he goes right in for the collar. It's like,
I love that. Yeah, I washed all the dog beds and stuff because my remaining puppies after their sister passed away were just sniffing, and then of course Kina, they were sniffing everything and like, where are they? And it was just like, I have to wash all of this because it's traumatizing everybody in the house.
You know, I feel like Kobe is actually taking it pretty good. He doesn't seem depressed or anything. He's definitely I like Victor and I have talked about this. Like, I feel like Kobe is definitely milking it to get food. And I'm like, you know what? This is exactly what Honey would have wanted. This is exactly what Honey would have done. And so I'm not even mad at him. But like every time I go in the kitchen, Kobe comes in and he's like,
sad eyes for treats, mama.
Yeah, and he's doing the Honey face now, where Honey used to make herself look like
She's
a toy.
Probably and then showing him how to do it.
It might be. It really might be, because like honestly, like Kobe never did this before, and now he's doing Honey's face, and I'm like,
yes, that totally both of my puppies have taken on characteristics of the two dogs that were before any of the puppies, doing exactly the thing. And I'm like, how did you know to do that? That's creepy. You didn't do that. All of a sudden you're doing it. Weird. Yeah. No, they're being instructed. They gang up on you even in the afterlife.
You know, so I feel much better about it. I feel like my dog made the decision to go, and she was ready, and she's with my grandmother, and she's just fine. And you know, it sucks, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. It like, and I said this last time, like it was like, if my dog was gonna dying in front of the heater, laying down, just like all sprawled out in her favorite spot, like just like not looking like she had a care in the world, and that's like the perfect way for like any dog to die in their favorite spot in the house. So
like a great way for me to go. I want to go like lay in front of a heater and just go poof and pass away.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So the other dog's doing fine, and you know, we're feeding him some treats and stuff like that, and he's barking a little bit more than he was, but you know.
Oh yeah,
to compensate.
Probably seeing some.
Dragon Balls to the two most adorable girls on YouTube chatting about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Love to all your canines. Thank you, Dragon Balls. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a perfect episode because we just had Easter, and so the Christians are all, you know, Jesused up and all this stuff, and so
they're hopped up. Yep.
They're hopped up, and the Pope died the day after.
Oh
Easter.
My God! Yeah,
the Pope died.
This is my third Pope.
I know. We get another conclave,
Paul, I believe. Yeah, Pope John Paul II is when I was born during his what do they call it? Administration, a reign, his papacy.
I enjoy all the drama around choosing the next pope. Like, and I know that we can't see in the conclave. That would be like really fascinating if we could, but I enjoy the drama around it, and I enjoy the spectacle, and I enjoy the people waiting outside in St. Peter's Square for the white smoke to come up, and then they wheel the Pope up to the balcony or whatever, and they put him in his Pope costume, and they open the giant curtains, and he comes out. I don't know. I enjoy the pageantry of it.
Maybe that's what we should watch for your last movie.
What?
The Conclave.
No, I watched that like a month ago or so, and I was like,
Yeah,
didn't think it
okay.
was a bad movie, but I was just like, the ending, I was like, really? It was just
I
like,
was
really? Come on, really? Like,
I
and I
laughed.
like, even just like the person they selected just in general, I was like, this is like the
It
worst possible. Like, it was bad. I don't like it.
it felt like that person kinda snuck in and
Yeah.
had like, nobody was looking at them, and all of a sudden, it was like he would kept positioning himself to be in just the right spot when things happened, and then, yeah, the reveal at the end just I laughed my ass off. My husband had to pause the movie because I was
Mhm.
laughing so hard. Great movie, though.
Man. Mac B says, apparently
Oh,
the
yeah.
next pope is supposed to be the last one before the end of the world, according to Christian theology. Oh, good. Oh, good. Last pope. So they should pick someone young.
Mhm. Yep.
Maybe not pick someone old and decrepit. That'd be pretty great, Catholics. All right.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I guess whatever will be, will be. We can't control the pope of all things.
It is the least of our worries.
That black pope from Africa seems pretty base, though.
The one that's up for the pick?
Not Pope Cardinal, the black
Okay.
cardinal that everyone's talking about.
I haven't honestly even paid attention, but I'm
Oh.
sure, yeah, maybe. I think the one they're looking at is a sort of another LGBTQ friendly
I hope
woke
not.
thing is what I'm hearing. That's the most favored person, but I don't know.
Catholics got to be more conservative, man. All right. Well, I guess let's speaking of the Pope, maybe Jesus will have some insight for us on the Pope. This was not that old. It's like 3 months ago.
Oh, cool.
All right. So for those who are new, DISENRAGE is just a chill night. We are chilling out. There's no drama in the chat. We are watching a channeled Afterlife interview. This is on a channel called Channeling Eric. And basically you're going to see Elisa, who is the host of the channel, talk to a medium and talk to Jesus through the medium. Now, if you don't believe in mediumship and you think this is sacrilegious, just go somewhere else, man. You don't need to complain. But if you are interested in what they have to say, like we found the first part of this to actually be pretty insightful, and it's just interesting conversation, and you know, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, but it's still interesting conversation. So we are continuing with the there's 2 more parts of this interview that we need to watch, and so okay, so cool, you're on board, cool. All right, let's jump right into it. Come on. Get big.
Hello, beautiful people. Hey, look, before I start this session, I have a big announcement to
No crowdfunding, Lisa. Sorry,
like
no
so
crowdfunding.
powerful. It was my first reaction. It was a gut punch.
No more crowdfunding.
Veronica Drake here, finishing up with the last 2 parts of our Jesus interview. Not too many years ago, I would have thought my saying that would be so strange. We're completing our Jesus interview. But anyway, it's true, and we're doing it. And we're going to be assisted by my son on the other side, Eric Medjus. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, Mama. I love you. And he says, hi, everybody.
And happy holidays. Oh, this won't age well, but it's okay. I'm not aging well either. So there we go. And if you want to find out more about Veronica, and after you finish listening to her, you will want to check her out. It'll be on the description box in the description box below, but also on the screen itself. All right. Do you have Jesus and he's still going cash?
We are. The outfit that I see today it's still white, but it has like a flowy feeling to it.
Oh, nice.
More like a linen-y kind of feel, very casual. I can see a very neatly manicured beard. And I just see these piercing eyes. They're very they're brown, but they're just a different shade of brown.
You know, when I saw this I think it was on Time magazine, the most beautiful girl in the world, this young shot girl who was Afghani, and she had beautiful like golden skin and golden hazel eyes. And I thought, I think that's what Jesus' hue tone was.
Do you know what I just heard as you were saying that? He told me that everybody will see me through their own lens. And it isn't so much about physically what I look like, because I will take shape in the minds and hearts of each person who sees me.
Fine, but when you were actually in the human body, what I imagine you to have a little bit darker complexion, but I might be wrong. I'm just wondering.
Yes, this is true. This is true. I had a darker complexion.
Mhm.
I had very dark eyes, and I was of short stature.
Okay.
Jesus was
All right.
short.
But
Yes,
Oh,
shorties
is that-
represent.
all right. Given the experience of your incarnation, again, we're continuing with the questions from the community. Given the experiences of your incarnation on Earth, what is the number one thing you learned by doing this? I suppose, meaning his incarnation is Jesus. I'm this person. I'm not sure.
Being human is very, very hard.
Mm.
You can say that again.
Real,
So,
Jesus, real.
What I learned was patience, management of feelings, expression of feelings, and understanding that the saying meeting people where they're at really helps solve a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
When we talk about meeting people where they're at, it's not a random phrase.
I hate this already. I don't want to meet people where they're at, Jennifer. I want people to adapt to me at all times.
That's because you're an Aries bitch, and we love you for it.
It's true. It's because I'm an Aries, but this is like
Mhm.
I'm trying so hard to be nicer to people lately. So and it's killing me. It is killing my soul, Jennifer.
I have been watching, and I watched you today even pull back, and you you
Sorry.
almost bit your tongue bloody trying to just like, and then you just kind of finally went, I can't.
I was right there for like the first 3 questions, and I was like, no more, no more. That's it.
It's redder and redder and redder. It was so
He
good.
says,
I'm like, oh,
it's
she
really
almost did
about
it.
trying to understand their perspective, their point of view, and it takes compassion, tolerance, and acceptance.
Right. I always like to think you need to let people be who they are, right? And that's kind of along the same lines. Let them be who they are.
Absolutely.
I've heard the soul is the size of a ping pong ball, but I've also heard it's so large that we have to squeeze inside our bodies, inside the body. Which one is it? I know that chakras are like the size of a ping pong or a golf ball, supposedly, the center anyway. So what is it?
There is no real shape to the soul. There is no real shape or form to the soul, sorry. He says that it takes on the shape of the container, much like water. Now, you can have a little bit of water or you can have a lot of water. The more evolved the soul is, the bigger it takes over what the container is. And that is what we understand to be an old soul.
Interesting.
Very
I've watched
interesting.
an experiment several times with my dowsing rods where I have a person in front of me, like kind of far away, on the other side of the room, for example, and I would say, imagine that your soul is very small, or I will ask them, think of something that was awful that happened in your life, and I would approach them, and the dowsing rods would just barely wrap around their body. But they said, expand your soul, make it big. Think of a beautiful thing that happened in your life. And I'd go toward them and whoosh, it split out. So
He said that's exactly it. That's exactly what evolvement is and exactly what enlightenment is. We're here to grow our souls. When you come into this earth, you are but a spark in the human body. As you have experiences, you begin to fill, and as your soul grows, he's very animated with this. Your soul reaches every other soul.
Oh, that's nice. All right, because you help so many people on earth on a daily basis, will you need to incarnate again, or can you fully evolve from the spirit world now? Can you evolve where you are? I don't know. Do you need any evolving?
There really is nowhere else to evolve to. I talked about having walkabouts, which is what I will continue to do. But just like every other soul that comes from Earth moves through the human continuum and comes to reside where I am, there is always, Eric can tell you, an assignment of sorts. There is always the guiding, the enlightenment, all of that. It never ends, but we don't need an earthly body to do that.
Okay. It's just very rapid when you're learning through contrast here on Earth. All right. There's a meme of a frustrated Jesus with the text, "I've never said that."
Huh.
About which of the statements attributed to you do you feel like exclaiming that? Do you and can you recall an actual statement you made which was morphed into something else in the Bible that you can trace back and say, wait,
That's a good
so this
question.
was a situation, and here's what I actually said.
I can tell you this, there's been a lot of whisper down the alley with the words.
Yeah.
By the time it gets to the next and the next and the next, it isn't even what I've said. What I will tell you is this: you can read the Bible, and you should, not for religious purposes, but for understanding yourself and the world around you. Do not take the Bible literally.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's what I've always said about the Bible. And I've always loved like Bible stories. Like Bible stories were my favorite growing up, but it's like it's a fine book. It has important life lessons. I think those life lessons can be read in a number of different ways. I don't have the same interpretation as many Christians do of some of the things that are said in that book. But I think it's like perfectly fine for like life lessons and wisdom, but it's not a literal book.
No.
That's
I
my
think
perspective.
if you're gonna take it, I guess, see if I can distill this thought. I started to look at it as this in the same way that, say, the Greeks looked at their myths and the Romans their myths, and every culture has a creation story, and they all have why is the sky separated from the ocean, and like things like that. And the Bible, I think what got kind of stuck out to me was the story of Noah and the first rainbow. And it was like, and this is why we have rainbows, boys and girls. It's because it's God's promise that he'll never flood the earth and try to kill his children again. It's like, well, that makes me feel better, I guess. I mean, thanks, God, But that was like, wait a minute, that's exactly the structure of a myth, or a fable, or having that this is why this exists, is because this thing happened. And I kind of thought, okay, so this is this culture trying to explain the world, but doing it in a way from a perspective of a savior or a supreme being that now, if you don't believe in, there will be penalties. So I think it definitely has gotten warped without a question.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where it's like, I mean, I still think it could be like it's an inspired book. I think it's pretty obvious. Like a book wouldn't have impact like that. It wouldn't be around 2,000 years later. It wouldn't have, gone all over the world if it wasn't an inspired book. But that still doesn't mean it's a literal book. It means it provides us with wisdom for that we needed, but it doesn't have to be literal,
No, I think it'd be dangerous to take it literally because there's a lot of stuff in there that you really shouldn't do.
Yeah.
You can use your intuition, your heart,
Absolutely.
or the universe to guide you,
Absolutely.
as your t-shirt says.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the logos, the consciousness of this galaxy?
Yes. Understanding that I am all, that I am the I am. Yes.
Is that true of just you and a handful of others, or?
There are others, the ascended, that share the same honor as I. But if we're going to get technical about it, we all share the same energy.
Yeah,
Lao Tzu,
exactly.
Krishna, Abraham, Muhammad, we all share the same energy.
What are the biggest myths about you?
That religion rules, dogma rules over love. I never concerned myself with who you love. I never concerned myself with who you lay. That was never part of my ministry.
The gaze.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right.
Who you lay,
so this
the
is
gaze.
a personal question, but I'll get to the general aspects of it. This person learned her partner was dishonest and cheated on him or her, and he or she is just beyond destroyed. And so basically the question is, can people recover from sex addiction? So that was a bit of a problem. And what is the most effective the way to facilitate this.
What you are addicted to doesn't matter. It's addiction in a whole.
Yeah.
Addiction runs through the veins of every human being. It's a natural condition. And so everybody can be rehabbed from an addiction. It's a matter of using your free will and choosing to do what is not always easy to do. It's how you think of it. It's not the addiction that will get you. It's the thoughts that fuel the addiction.
That's very true. That's actually really insightful. It's not the addiction that will get you. It's the thoughts that fuel the addiction. I totally agree with that. But I also don't think addiction is always a bad thing. Like, I think that, I think one of the reasons I got so good at the socialism stuff is I literally kind of like...
Oh, sorry.
Dogs are very anti-communist tonight. I forced myself to become like obsessed with the socialism stuff. And so, yeah, maybe it's a little bit weird, but like, I think that's kind of like a good addiction. There are many worse things I could be addicted to, I guess.
I think addiction is just another word for imbalance. Oh, now they're eating my yarn. Stop eating everything. I'm going to have to move these guys out of my office here.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it's kind of a way of looking at imbalance. And I think obsession is, I don't know if obsession is, it's probably similar or part and parcel with addiction, but obsession is something that kind of comes and goes and then you find the next thing. But that, I think, it's definitely has its seeds in, like she said, we're all naturally addicted to something, for sure.
Well, I think we train ourselves to be addicted to the thing, though. We train ourselves to the emotions we get from getting the fix of whatever that thing is. And then when that thing goes away and we aren't getting those emotions anymore, we're like, what's going on?
It's all about
Where is it?
pleasure. Yeah, it's all about where you're receiving your pleasure and if it's healthy and if it's in balance.
Okay. Interesting. Did you have to go through a life review?
He says not in the same sense that everyone goes through, but certainly there were things to look at, but not things I did to improve, things that I did that we could think of it like this, manufacturer for the whole. I went through this. How can we spread this on a bigger level?
Wow. All right. Jesus, my name is Cameron, and I'm from South Carolina. I've been diagnosed with narcolepsy. Could you tell me why or what I'm supposed to learn by having this autoimmune disease? I'm tired of falling asleep constantly. What am I supposed to learn from this? I get so upset because others have so much energy to do stuff, and I'm doing all I can to just get out of bed and get ready.
That's a
Please
good
let
question.
me know.
I like
And
this.
could you please come visit me and bring my sister, grandma, and dad with you? I love you and thank you.
Oh,
Are you
that's
okay
nice.
with answering a personal question like that?
Just like the sun rises and sets and the tides flow, you must honor the rhythms that you're given. Don't fight against what is. I know on human terms, it seems horrible to have this infliction, but the reality is you're being called, you're being tested, you're being brought to a level of faith that you've never had before. Stand and trust the process. Don't fight what is.
Will you visit?
What a nice answer.
Person?
Yeah.
I visit everyone. I'm always there.
Oh.
I'm always there.
It'd be cool to have a YouTube live where people can ask Jesus questions like this.
That would be really cool, Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll think about that one. All right. What was the point of celibacy for priests? What is the point? And do you agree with that?
Control,
There is no point.
money.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh!
Many churches.
There is no point in celibacy for priests. I fucking love it.
It's all about money and power. They just wanted the money. The church wanted the money.
Yeah. I wonder why. Because they think that sex is dirty, maybe?
It's because it's a cruel and inhumane, we are human. He says, I was human. It's an inhumane punishment. I understand the concept that you humans have put forward with it, but I must tell you this, it does nothing except create deprivation, which creates desperation, which equals sinister behavior.
Yeah.
I've said this a million times before. Like, people who are sexually repressed, that is going to manifest itself in some weird way in your life, in a way that you are probably not prepared for. Like, there are some people that can channel that. Like, Joshua used to tell the story of like, you know, he like worked with this virgin that was this amazing ballerina, and so she channeled her sexual energy into her dance, and so that worked. And I think, you know, you look at someone like Nick Fuentes, who is, you know, a virgin, and he talks about this. He's like, I'm channeling my creative process into building this, and he is actually very like aware of it to a shocking degree. I'm like, yeah, Nick understands energy. He is channeling his creative energy in a different way. But I think for most people, like, sexual repression just really screws them up.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think also the incorrect use of like the way it can be used oppressively as well. I mean, it really fucks with your whole perception of yourself and how you relate to other people. So it's kind of incredible how important sex really is.
Yeah. Sex is not just about getting off. Like, we are like, it's not just about that at all. There are any number of things that.
Yeah. It's a lot more connection and so forth. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Many churches, I hope they listen to this. Many churches claim to have original pieces of the cross or things like it. Are any of these real?
I can't speak to all of them because all of them are not real.
Okay.
I can also tell you that some of them
Okay.
that believe they're real will be just as real as those that are real, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does
If
actually.
they don't tell stories around them for their own personal gain monetarily, it's not her.
Yeah. What is the truth about the Ark of the Covenant, and where is it?
Hang on, before we get to that, John Morgan asked, does that mean sexually active people are less creative or more creative? I mean, I think it depends, right? I think you can be highly sexually active, and I think you can also be extremely creative. I think you can also be extremely uncreative and like sexually active. So I don't know. Like, I think it just depends, right?
Well, I would offer that with no sexual release, and this may or may not actually even pertain to virgins, because let's be honest, they don't know what they're missing exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but once you kind of, you know, cross that barrier, then you, again, it kind of goes back to obsession. It's like you're not going to be less creative, but now if you don't have that outlet, you're going to have to channel it into something. And it doesn't mean that something's even going to be good or productive, and it could go into some kind of mania. I think some people who don't get this fed in a healthy way get into addictions like porn and things like that that are out of balance, you know. So, but I mean, I don't think it makes you less creative. If you're creative, you're creative, you're creative. Does it mean maybe your priority may not be 100% into your creation? Probably, but that's okay. We have to eat and clean our houses and sleep too. It's all part of life.
It doesn't live in one particular place. Think of it as a shrine. It's moving. So wait, he's got this big overarching theme that he's showing me. It looks like a huge rainbow. It doesn't live in one place. He doesn't mean that literally, that it doesn't live in one place.
Are you saying it's like multi-dimensional?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's it. And it's going up and up and up. And he's showing me the Sacred Heart. We carry it in our heart. Geographically, it comes from where I was.
Okay. All right.
But it's multidimensional.
Interesting. What about the Holy Grail?
The Holy Grail is in the Holy Land. And yes, it is real.
Okay. What do you think about the Mormon Church? Did you talk to Joseph Smith and tell him to restore the gospel?
He takes a deep breath and he lets it out. And he says, this is nothing but another skewed variation of truth.
Jesus doesn't like Mormons.
Okay. So you didn't speak to Joseph Smith.
Did you follow that whole thing?
I got a little bit distracted, so I missed the actual question.
You got to go back, because like they asked the question and Jesus basically goes,
Oh no, no, no! You took the heavy side from Christ our Lord.
Oh no, the poor Mormons.
Okay. All right.
But
What?
it's multidimensional.
Interesting. What about the Holy Grail?
The Holy Grail is in the Holy Land, and yes, it is real.
Okay. What do you think about the Mormon Church? Did you talk to Joseph Smith and tell him to restore the gospel?
Oh God.
He takes a deep breath and he lets it out, and he says, "This is nothing but another skewed variation
Oh,
of
dear.
truth."
Little
Oh,
shade
poor
from
Mormon.
Jesus.
So you didn't speak to Joseph Smith?
Obviously not enough.
All right. So you disapprove of the religion?
I
Based. That
think
was such a
like
good answer.
every religion that has criterias and conformity that's so rigid
Oh, yeah.
and so dramatic, there are elements to it that need to be re-examined moving forward. I believe in the hearts and I believe in the purity of believing in something. But when you have so many people marching to the drum, to the beat of something that creates so much lack and desperation.
You know, some of my favorite patients, well, there are two. Maybe this makes sense, actually, when I think about it. My favorite patients, the nicest, kindest, most polite patients were two: Mormons and prisoners from the TDC, Texas Department of Corrections. They were always so nice.
Mhm.
Anyway, does Jesus hear me when I send my thoughts to him with telepathy, or is it better to talk to him out loud? Sometimes, due to my illness, telepathic thoughts are better for me to use because speaking is too much for me to do at a time. This must be the same person.
The primary way of communication is and always has been and always will be through thought.
Okay. Why are some people blessed with miracles and some not?
It's a matter of perception. I keep taking this back to what
Everyone's
you see.
blessed
It's
with
in
miracles.
the eye of the
True.
beholder. You can look at somebody who has so little seemingly on this earth, and they can be counting their blessings tenfold, and they just feel so grateful for a sheep.
Yeah.
And then you look at somebody who has everything worldly, but yet they
True.
have nothing inside of them.
Mm.
The best of both worlds, as the human meets the soul, would be a fair blending of both and a fair distribution of the worldly.
Yeah, I agree. So when I'm in the one of my instructions that I give to the energy of a person is to the divine team to please perform any miracle necessary to make that service successful. So do you guys perform miracles up for that?
Yes, we set the energy. Everything is energy, as you well know, Dr. Medhus. Everything,
You call me Lisa.
everything is energy, and you're doing your part. As we travel into 2025, I'm not making predictions, mind you, but I think I can be spoken to as a prophet. We are turning the corner on a whole way of being. Just like the Industrial Revolution came in, we are now on the cusp of the energetic revolution.
Ooh.
I've been hearing this is on the way.
Energy.
That's
Hang on.
awesome.
What have you heard about this?
Well, so there's, and it's interesting to hear this from the Christ consciousness because I've been hearing for the better part of a decade, I'd say, that we're gonna either go into like a fourth degree. What?
Go ahead. No, I was gonna
like-
interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, just a fourth dimensional density. Like the Earth is passing through a different place in the universe. I have a feeling I need to let my dog out. She's giving me signs. But also, I'm hearing that it's also has to do with like the age of Aquarius. People are saying as soon as we hit that, there's going to be a big evolution or jump in our consciousness that people will just be more aware. There's an opening, like we're not as blocked for some reason. And that has to do with going into that fourth density or that fourth dimension or whatever it is. and which I still don't totally understand. I keep looking into it and then it just doesn't make sense to me. But whatever it is an evolution, and that even people who are closed off are now more finding themselves a little more in touch, and so it's helping communication. It's helping people be more awake, more aware, if you will. And it's also some people are, they're using it for their own definitions of, like, some are saying, oh, this is what's going to get rid of woke, and they try to politicize it. And it's like, basically it just means people are seeing the truth a little bit more, and there's a lot more compassion that is rooted in help and selflessness versus just doing it to show off.
I mean, like, so what I was going to say is, like, so you said you've been hearing this the past 10 years, and that was my initial inclination with Jesus saying, like, we are right on the cusp. I'm like, okay, Jesus, what does that mean in terms of time? Like, does it mean
I'm not real, Karlyn?
Well, time isn't real, and because time isn't real, spirit often has trouble estimating time on things, because it's like, it's a very abstract concept for them. They don't actually understand it. And so, like, if they say we're right on the cusp of something, that could mean next week, it could mean next year, it could mean 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, because to spirit, it's all the same.
Yeah. Are we talking about, like, the cusp of a zodiac sign, which is the day before, the day of, and the day after? The cusp of a solar year, the cusp of a galactic rotation, because that could be several hundred years.
Are we
Like,
talking about a moon cycle here? Like, what are we talking about, Jesus?
What
What are
kind
we,
of cusp
give me
is-
a fucking, I want a time. I want a date.
and this is the same thing where they're like, oh yeah, aliens are going to be exposed soon. And it's like, soon could be 50 years, soon could be tomorrow. What does soon even mean? It's totally arbitrary.
Yeah. Every year, the aliens are coming. We're going to have disclosure. I'm like, okay, fine. Do it already. Just fucking do it.
Exactly. Well, according to some people, it's already happened, because the government has acknowledged that aliens are real, that alien craft are real. And then I guess everyone said, has anybody gotten any closure on those drones that were over in New Jersey and
No.
the East Coast?
Oh, apparently it was some sort of, like, exercise or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't aliens.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Cover up. I'm gonna go let my pup out. You
All right.
Be right back.
All right.
The way to heal. This is the way to live. Eric's laughing because he says, remember when we didn't think the Jetsons phone would be a real thing?
Wow. That's pretty cool. Thank God the Flintstones car is the thing. Yabba dabba doo. All right, Missy, are you the reincarnation of Malala Yousafzai, Jesus?
No.
No.
Okay. Is it true that the Bible is a lie and has been rewritten thousands of times in order for us to be governed? I can't imagine it'd be wholly true. Holy.
The Bible is not a lie.
Yeah.
I want to clarify, there have been a lot of things said in the name of the Holy Book, but it is not a lie. You cannot call the Bible a lie. It is with the best intentions and with the best thought going forward that those who authored the Bible, the stories in the Bible, came forward. These are but stories, parables that will fill the hearts. It is up to you and your free will to interpret the words.
Okay. Why is it that you came as Jesus with all your memories, your soul memory? Are more souls that came to earth like you?
No one's quite like me, but there are humans walking around that have a very strong connection and tie to who they were in past lives. I say to that, only use it with caution, only use it as it's relevant.
Makes sense. Out of all of your reincarnations, which was the most fun? How was it? How was it? And where were you then?
I would have to say being Jesus.
Okay, well, it wasn't a walk in the park, that's for sure.
No, nor is life as a human.
No, that's true. Jesus, please share with us how you heal. Did you learn to heal from mystic schools around the world? Abraham Hicks said you would visualize a person healthy, thus they would heal. I'm sure visualization is part of thought creating reality. But
It
yeah,
is. It definitely is. Healing comes from the heart. I tell you this, every single one among you is a healer. Everyone. You have the potential to not only heal yourself, but the potential to heal the collective.
Mhm.
As I have said over and over, healing is a mind thing. It's an energy thing. It's what emanates from you. The soul, which is what you truly are, is the ultimate healer.
Yeah.
If you truly focus your intention on healing your mind and your heart, you will be open to possibilities that you may not see otherwise, steps that you can put into place with your free will to help yourself heal. No, it is not like snapping your fingers and all of a sudden you're healed. It's not magic.
Abracadabra. Yeah. Well, I could tell that story when I was hiking deep in the Memorial Park forest alone and no cell service. I fell and hurt my knee, so that just swelled up so big. And I said, "Oh, I'm not going to get out of here." So I visualized going deep into my knee and just taking all the inflammatory cells away and doing this and that. I think like a doctor. So I was working on the ligaments and all that stuff. And before my very eyes, boom, shrunk down, no pain. So there is power. You guys are very powerful, actually.
There actually is. And when I had my hip replacement, I healed. Jesus told me, came to my bed that night and said, lay hands on. I put hands on my hip. I envisioned the same thing. They couldn't believe that I was lifting a barrel of wood 2 days after my surgery. My doctor
That's
found it.
awesome.
There's
Well,
power.
yeah, but you're a legendary anyway.
There's power in it.
Is being Buddhist a Buddhist, aligning yourself with the Buddhist philosophy bad?
No,
No.
not at all.
Okay.
No.
So
no.
I kind of like that philosophy.
The Buddhists will the path variates because the Buddhists don't believe in God necessarily, but they do believe in all of the principles that support a God.
Okay.
Hmm.
Why does your energy feel overwhelming when you get close to someone? Like when Jamie Butler interviewed you, she said, "Please back up." She started crying.
Well, I can tell you this. This is me speaking.
Oh yeah.
When I first got into this space of doing this, and I have come into my office, I prep it, I get my incense going, I do all of my stuff, and I can feel a discernible difference when I sit down to ask the presence of the Holy One in. And what I will say to you, it's a little bit like looking into the sun. You don't want to do it for very long.
Wow.
Meaning, I can see where he enters, I can feel it, but it's almost like you have to look away. He becomes and I use the word he. It's not a he or a she, but it becomes encompassing in the body. So that magnanimous feeling that you get at first kind of dissipates because you become one with.
Oh
Wow.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
I want to try channeling Jesus now. This is like this is like when I went to that haunted museum and they had the possessed doll, and I was like, I need to challenge the possessed doll to it. I challenged the possessed doll. That didn't work out so well for me. I ran out of the room. And so now I need to channel Jesus to go the other direction.
Only you would think I'm going to go channel the Christ consciousness. I'm just going to go right to that. We're not going to start with anything small.
No,
we're going to go right to Jesus. I mean,
hey, listen. When the first time I did psychedelics, I didn't do mushrooms like a normal person. I didn't do LSD. I went to Peru to do ayahuasca. I don't do things.
That was your first
half-assed.
experience.
That was
with
my first.
psychedelics?
Yes, that was my first experience with psychedelics. Was literally going to Peru to do ayahuasca. Yeah,
you really do jump in and not hold your nose, do you?
I do. This is how I do it. I'm like, all right, if we're doing this, like, we might just fucking do it. No dicking around. Just give me the shamanic dose of ayahuasca in Peru on a mountaintop. Like, why not? And then I did mushrooms after that. And ironically, I actually have much greater hallucinations with mushrooms than with ayahuasca. Ayahuasca's like not, at least for me, it's not the best hallucinatory. Ayahuasca is great for many things. It's amazing healer, but it's not. I don't get a lot of visions on it.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
I don't know. I haven't done boomers in a very, very long time, but I miss them. They're fun. It's nice to unplug out of this cage and go into the next realm and the bigger spaces.
I haven't done anything in years, and literally because the last time I did mushrooms, I think I took too many, and I took like the really strong one, and I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was like the really strong one that the mushroom people told me. Like, they were like, "Don't fuck around with this," and so I, of course, I did what I did. I was like, saying that. That's exactly what happened. I was like, "Wow, what could possibly go wrong?" And then I thought I was gonna die all night, and I've been afraid to do it ever since.
Yeah, my last experience with them was similar. I thought I was pretty sure I died, and that I jumped timelines to continue this one. But I don't know what happened, but it was spooky as fuck, and it took me days to come out of it because I was in a funk.
I was traumatized. I was like, my body was just like, like, what happened? But I've been thinking about doing them again lately. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a psychedelic trip sometime. I don't know.
I need to have a wee. I need to have a wee. A wee.
A wee.
I need to have that. In the last couple I did were kind of a little too serious, and I think I just need to have some fun.
Let me see our time. Make sure I'm not going past the part 2 starting. Y'all, give a like, hit the thumbs up right now for Jesus. You'll do anything for Jesus.
Thumbs up for Jesus.
Before you forget. I don't want to wait till the
Jesus.
end. All right. Many people are leaving the church, mainly I didn't know that, mainly because of karma, and I am one of them. What comfort can you offer to that? I think that things are turning around now, though. I think a lot of, especially young people, are coming back to some sort of faith-based thing. So what do you say about what's going on?
The church will rebuild itself. It will have a new exterior and a new interior.
Oh no.
There will be a whole new way to
new
worship.
Pope.
It will be more in line with what, I will say this, is believable to this group of humans.
But spirituality.
LGBTQ friendly Pope.
It will be rebuilt, he says.
Okay, good.
Not
Jesus,
that that's a
I have
bad
some
thing.
Problems, and I'm going to do all I can.
I think I kind of feel like the Pope should be saying, like, love everyone. Like, this is like, and like, I don't mind that messaging at all. I think what I mind is like, it's one thing to say love everyone, treat everyone with respect and dignity and all this stuff, and be the love you want to see in the world, like whatever. But it's another thing to allow queer theory to co-opt your church and to teach everyone that they're really no gender and stuff like that. That's what I worry about, Jennifer.
Yeah. I wish we could get the love without the conditions. Like, it's almost like that, just accepting, like, how many families have suffered and broken up, and people have suffered and lost their familial connections, or couldn't enjoy marrying the partner of their choice because of the discrimination that they have faced from many religious, not just the Catholic Church, but I mean, and I've heard there's some Catholic churches that are very open-minded. I guess it kind of depends on your diocese or whatever, but it's like, can we just have the acceptance for our human experience without then getting into the danger zones that always seem to follow, and it's very irritating. It's like the camel's nose. It's like, just have the love without all this, then adding new judgments and flipping it around into, well, now you have to honor us more than yourselves, like what you were talking about today in your stream. Same thing. They flipped the narrative.
Like, God's love is unconditional. God loves us no matter what. We can be the worst, and this is the thing that gets me in trouble. Like, Hitler went to heaven. God still loved Hitler. Clip me. I don't give a fuck. Because God loves everyone unconditionally, and it doesn't matter if you were the worst person that ever lived, although arguably there were worse people than Hitler, like Pol Pot and Mao and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's definitely in the top 5, but yeah, I agree.
But like all of them are in heaven because God loves us unconditionally, and that's just the way it goes. And we've all made choices to be here, and some of us are going to do horrific things here, and God is still going to love us because that is what it is.
And I will just offer this one caveat, just to add clarity of language. I know you don't believe in heaven, and that's the language we're using because it's the most accepted language.
No, I'm using it to trigger the Christians.
Yeah, so calm down. We're in disarray tonight.
Everyone goes to the same place after we die. It's not heaven. It is just the place we go after we die. There is no hell. Hell is a man-made convention.
Yeah.
Can't go there. Can't go to hell if it's not real.
Exactly.
Prager you. You cannot go to hell if it's not real, assholes.
But he's a Jew. He doesn't believe in hell anyway.
I said exactly the same fucking thing. After
Yeah.
that happened, I remember that because like it was like 2 weeks later, Dennis Prager comes out with a video saying there's no hell, and I was like, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck you. You don't even believe hell exists in the first place, and yet you assholes planted a hit piece on me in Newsweek because I said Hitler went to heaven because hell doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm still not traumatized by all this shit conservatives put me through or nothing, Jetafire. It comes up all the time, bubbles up all the time. I'm like,
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
like all it's like I'll wake up on a normal day and be like, fuck Prager, you.
Well, because they made you feel helpless,
Yeah.
and they took away something that was important to you by throwing let's say it, by swinging their dicks.
Yeah.
And that was a shitty thing to do.
It was a really shitty thing
Yeah.
to do.
And shame on them.
Shame on them, and shame on everyone that does that sort of shit, because seriously. But you know what? They're gonna have their own karma. I have been like visited by the karma is real fairy a lot lately, which by that is like someone does something shitty to me and then I just sit back and I watch, and then that basically almost the same thing happens to that person, and I'm like,
Nice.
oh,
That's gotta be gratifying.
Well, you know, I
Bye.
mean, it happened to me like last night where this person who I actually do really adore this person, but he did some shitty things to me, if I'm honest about it, and he never apologized. And not only did he not apologize, he made me feel like dirt for asking for an apology, even though he was obviously clearly wrong. And so we didn't talk for a while. And then we kind of got back in touch, and we had been talking a little bit, and you know, everything's fine. And I don't want to like hang on to shit or anything. But last night I hear from him, I'm like, oh yeah, this other person did this horribly shitty thing to me, and I would never do that to another person, but this person did a horribly shitty thing to me, and I was so nice about it, and I was kind of like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it really sucks when people do that to you, doesn't it? Because doesn't it suck when people make you feel like your feelings don't matter, and that you give and you never get, and it's never appreciated, and there's not it like, because it was literally exactly what he did to me.
Wow.
And I haven't heard from him since. It's only been 24 hours, so maybe he's gone off to think about that. But like, I was just like, and I'm not mad at him. I was just like, I was looking at the situation. I was like, fucker, you did this to me like 6 months ago. Literally you did this thing that you're saying you didn't do, that really upset me for months, that you refused to apologize for. You did this.
Yep.
But I said it in a really nice way, and I think he's off thinking about that.
Wind up the pitch and let it go.
And I was like, I hope he comes back and we can still be chill about it. But I'm just like, you know what? I suffered a lot because of that shit. I'm not letting this go yet.
Well, it's hard not to tap dance when the music's so loud.
You know, and it's like, I don't want him to be hurt, right? I really don't want him to be hurt. Like, that makes me sad. Like, it sucked when he did it to me, and I think it sucks, like, but it's also just like karma. Sorry, karma. You brought this on yourself, and this is not my fault. You did this to yourself.
Yep.
Sorry.
To reverse these problems. I'm not lazy, but I do need your help achieving, I'm lazy, this great goal. How will I know I'm tapping into your healing energy? Well, I will say to this person, you have healing energy, but I'll defer to the master.
You cannot mistake my energy. It feels nothing like you've ever felt before. You must first know yourself before you can know what is me. So to be able to discern the healing energy, take account of who you are, what you feel, what you're experiencing now. Ask for me and then pay attention.
Okay. Since the results of the election, the racism has become much more apparent. Many reminders of history with Hitler. I'm concerned and wonder, as a brown person, I don't feel safe. I wonder if I should find a safer place. Am I safe in the USA right now as a brown person? Yeah. I mean, is that even true? I mean, there's a lot of Trump derangement syndrome going around.
Thank you, Elisa.
I just, the certain news outlets paint him as a dictator, going to execute his enemies in the street and all that stuff. But what's really going on? And did you save him from becoming
I
assassinated?
can't wait for this
It
answer.
has always been what you're experiencing. Go back to the beginning of time.
Always been this way.
It's never not existed. This has nothing to do with one man.
Yeah.
How could you assume that one man could have so much?
He's not that powerful. There's
No, this is an erroneous way of thinking. If you look back to the times that I walked the earth, it was still there.
maybe even worse.
Differences were always there.
Yeah. So is this person going to be safe? Are we going to be safe?
Yes. Yes.
It's like, what are you talking about? You're fine. Relax.
This will really twist your noodle. I
level
love him
of
as much as
feeling
I love
safe and
you, by the way.
secure
Yo,
is equal-
oh man, for real. That would have been like,
Yeah.
to your level of faith. Write that down.
wait, I
That's a
missed
big
that.
one.
Wait,
See,
Jesus said to write it
level
down.
of-
Hang on.
Are we going to be safe?
Get your pencils.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Safety. Your level of feeling safe and secure is equal to your level of faith.
Yeah, true, actually.
Write that down.
Yeah,
It's a big one.
true.
It's etched in my mind. Personally, I feel we will be safer. That hopefully crime will be tackled and the economy will be better. The wars will.
Wow.
But we will never be in a time without struggle and disparities. Everybody will walk their path to do their role to create duality. We have to have a side over here and a side over here.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is finding a middle ground.
Yeah.
That's where we as humans must focus our energy. And that, my friends, is where I started. Meet people where they're at. You
Yeah.
don't have to condone it. But you don't ridicule it and you don't try to get rid of it.
Exactly.
You try to embrace it and you try to understand it.
Yo, that's actually, I've been feeling very spiritual lately, Jennifer, since my dog died. And I feel like this is kind of like where I'm at, right? And I really had this, it's like a weird thing, but like, I feel like my dog dying snapped me out of like a funk that I was in. And now I'm like, okay, life is finite. Like, and I've been really energized by it. I've been really focused in my work since I've produced so much content since then. It's ridiculous. But it's also like, I'm just feeling more, like, I'm so sick of the bullshit and I'm so sick of the fighting. And I'm so sick of feeling like I need to choose a side when I don't want to choose a side. And I don't just mean between Democrat and Republican. I mean from any of the fucking groups. From I am not on your fucking team. I'm not in your tribe. I'm not going to join your fucking cult. I'm going to do my thing. And if you want to come play with me on some certain things, that's fine. But like, don't expect that I'm gonna like go back with you to follow every narrative that you want me to follow. And it's just like, I feel like, and this is part of why I've been nicer. I think I feel like I've been being more magnanimous.
Oh, magnanimous.
I don't know. Yeah, magnanimous, because I have to frame my niceness like that. Like I am like, what is, I don't know a good way to say it. Like I'm gracing you with my niceness.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
In magnanimity.
That's worse.
But no, I'm like even I've been even more conscious of like, listen, man, I've even been more conscious of saying like, hey man, if you're a Democrat and you want to come talk to me about this stuff, I'm cool. I'm not going to ridicule you or make you feel bad or stupid for watching MSNBC.
Unless you keep asking the same question over and over and over.
And then I'm going to yell at you because, that's just the rule. But I have been feeling more like, can we all just come together and agree that there is insanity in the world and just be common sense about it? Like, come on, can we please stop with the bullshit?
Yeah, well, I think since you've gotten the Red Menace kind of media thing going, you're starting to really fine tune your brand, your message, and having that can give you a level of confidence where you're just above the bullshit now. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's down here being stupid. And you're going, look, let's do the work. Here's the work. And every now and then someone bubbles up and you're like, that's cute. Down you go. But I think your focus and now your purpose and drive and the framework is clear. It's clearer for you than it has been.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, was it a coincidence that he turned his head just a little bit to, some say, and he felt like it was the presence of God or the divine. And many prophets back in the early 200s, or a couple of them at least, early 2000s, said that Trump would be brought in by the divine, or a person with a loud mouth and orange hair and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Was that turn nudged by the divine?
There was divine intervention, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Can you
Obviously.
explain the
Yep.
7 seals? That sounds familiar. Are they more metaphoric, like the alignment of our first 7 chakras and or Earth?
The 7 seals comes to the energy centers in the body.
Okay.
You can equate them to what they hold and address them as such. I don't know what.
Okay. Were you the greatest healer / psychic here on Earth?
I wouldn't say the greatest.
Right up there, though, right?
That feels filled with ego.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is no greatest. Everybody comes in where they're at, and everybody has the ability that they're given, and everybody has the ability to work their way up.
True.
Okay. All right. This next one I'm not going to ask because it's too political. Way too political.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
politics. They need
Uh-huh.
Jesus to confirm their bias.
Mandatory, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Can Jesus expand on the 3 days of darkness the several mediums have been talking about recently, where supposedly a solar flare will knock down the power grid for 3 days, and during that time, the lower vibrational beings that are on Earth will be captured and removed from this plane? Is this true? And can we expect
I
it
have
to
not
happen
heard
in
of
what,
this.
the next 5, 10,
What?
15, 20, 50 years? Interesting.
That sounds a little Hollywood-like,
She's
but
like
here's what
silly.
I will tell you. There will be darkness. You've had tastes of darkness. If you're talking about literal darkness, will your grids go down
Yeah.
simultaneously? No, your Earth will not stop rotating ever. All of the grids are experiencing interference because of the solar cosmic happenings. It's not like we're going to go dark worldwide or even countrywide. There will be outages. These outages are going to be much like COVID was, giving us the opportunity to find the blessings in the dark.
Yes.
Get your generators, people.
Evil,
Yeah, what about that? Or at least some of it.
removing evil. He says that to remove evil is a lifelong process and beyond. The dark has nothing to do with the evil. The dark is symbolic of your shadow side as a human. When the grids go down and you're supposedly in the dark, think about what will happen. Your face will no longer be planted in your device.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Time to look at your shadow side.
Go ahead.
Is he like low key saying there is going to be a grid failure?
Yeah, he's saying that. Yeah, yes, yeah. But we don't know when.
When? Now I'm on your
and
side.
he's gonna be like, we're right on the cusp of it, and then it's gonna be like 15 years from now or something. It's like, no, Jesus, that was not the cusp. That was not the cusp.
I don't want to be one of those crazy old ladies that's like, I've been waiting for this for 40 years, and I've got like 20 kilos of powdered milk and powdered freeze-dried eggs and shit in her basement, just waiting for the grid to go down.
See, now I feel like I need to become a prepper of some sort.
That always good idea to have something. You never know when your power is going to go. Look what happened to people in Texas, lost power for like a month.
Yeah.
And the ones that just had the hurricane that go up through the Carolinas. I mean, it's always good to have things that you need so you're not going to get sick, destitute, or starve.
Probably true.
COVID, there was a lot of self-reflection for people.
Absolutely.
Very good.
And that's what Eric is saying. That is what this is. That's what's happening, he said, or will happen.
Yeah, it was an opportunity for Mother Earth to do a lot of healing for herself, right? I mean,
and this will play out. Eric says
Venice were clean and
yes,
beautiful.
Eric says this will play out over the next 3 years.
Okay.
Over the next 3 years, you will see multiple cities hit with grid outages, darknesses,
Are you
but
listening, Karlyn?
not to the
Yes.
detriment
Over
of
the next 3
humanity.
years.
Okay.
I
Good to
don't.
know. All
Again,
right.
though.
I think that is a great place.
But okay, so they're ending it anyway. But like, again, I don't trust Jesus's time estimation. I just don't trust it.
It wasn't Jesus, it was Eric. Eric
Oh,
said
Eric?
that.
Well,
Yeah.
Eric is in, Eric is in spirit too. Okay, I don't trust Eric any more than I trust Jesus to estimate time. Like, because it's like I've seen this over and over again, and like even this is something that like if I have sometimes like I'll have a question about something that I pull cards on. I'm like, when is this gonna happen? And it's like. And it's like,
well, like, because the future can always change. Things change. And like if we're on our current trajectory, this is what will happen. Can we say exactly when? Don't know, because tomorrow something completely different could shift things and it'll be pushed down or brought closer. I agree with Nick. I think he's talking about California too.
Well, maybe he is talking about California, but like, but like, all I'm saying is I do not trust any spiritual being's estimation of time because they are removed from the time thing. So they mean
but when
well.
they say things like the next 3 years, it does make me kind of go, huh?
They mean well.
That's
with
specific.
love. With love.
Okay.
They mean well. All right.
I'm excited for the apocalypse. I don't know why. I love like apocalypse movies. I love survivalist shit. I just go crazy for it.
It's a little weird, Jennifer. But okay, we have one more. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say maybe it's just because I'm sick of the status quo.
Yeah, for real.
Shit needs to get shaken up. For
real. All right, we've got one more part of Jesus left. I really enjoyed that episode. I really like this medium. I like her a lot.
Yes.
Like she's very connected.
Yes, I agree.
Well, beautiful people. And look, before I start this session, I have a big announcement to make.
No crowdfunding,
and
Lisa.
Drake, information down below and on the screen. She's amazing, as you just noticed. If you have not watched the other 3 parts about our interview with Jesus, please do so. And we have Jesus still here. Thank you so much for the wisdom you are imparting to us today and before. And I have Eric facilitating.
Eric says,
I don't think Jesus needs much help. But anyway, but thank you, Eric, for being here. And you're going to be at Christmas with us, right?
Oh, set the plate.
Okay. All right. We're going to continue with these wonderful community questions. Jesus, why has God decided to create the countless soul it has created to experiment on itself, like Conversations with God? You know, that whole book said. Why? What knowledge could they gain that God is not already aware of? Well, I could sort of answer that like Jesus wouldn't know better, but God can conceptualize love in all its facets, but there has to be an experiential component. Like you can take chemistry, organic chemistry, bleh, but you need the lab to really totally understand it. You can look at a recipe of a brownie, but you know, and read it and stuff, but you really have to get in the kitchen, make the brownie, burn your fingers, i.e. human experience. And then when you take that bite, then you really truly experience what a brownie is. So is there anything else you can add to that?
I'm laughing because he's telling me to use my example. So he says, tell them about the lima beans. People can tell you that they love lima beans and you should eat your lima beans. They're good for you. But when you put them in your own mouth, you will decide if you like the texture, if you like the taste. He said it is absolutely experiential.
Okay, good. And what's the decision? Do you like lima beans?
Me or Jesus?
No, you.
Oh, dear God, I hate lima beans. That's why he's laughing. They're disgusting.
Oh, I love them with a little bacon.
Fly paper.
Yeah, I know. It's really fun texture. All right. How is the experience on Earth any different from giving the car keys to a 6-year-old and ask him or her to drive safe and not crash the car?
Yeah, real.
The crash will happen, so why can't God see that this soul's amnesia isn't helpful, as it is stalling the evolution process for every human being? Oh, I beg to differ. Hardship is the fuel of spiritual evolution.
Yeah, well, that's actually very true.
But
actually, you know
imagine
what?
If you-
I really like that because I get so much shit every time I say like bad things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
They have you might not understand it, you might not like it. Yes, it's going to cause you trauma. Guess what? We all have trauma. Welcome to the club. It's called being a human being. We do not grow up in this world without trauma. Every single one of us will experience trauma in our childhood, probably inflicted by our parents or someone else that should be taking care of us that isn't, because you know what? They have trauma too, because they were fucked up by their parents and their parents before them. And there is no getting around this. You will not leave this life without trauma. There is a reason for it. And can we start acknowledging that bad things happen, and it is not a measure of whether or not your life is wasted or over or any of those things. It is for spiritual growth.
Well, and it's also not the same. And I think this is what people get mixed up in their head. They look at, if you say bad things happen for a reason, they turn around and think, oh, so it's a good that it's happened. You're saying I need to have bad things happen. We're not saying that bad things are good things or that your suffering is funny. We're not doing that. Don't even go there. It just means that personal growth, while it can happen during a time of wonder and beauty, really, really fucking hits you when it's a punch to the face. Then you go, blah. Oh, whoa. Okay, wait a minute. Now I'm paying attention. It's just like ignoring someone who's asking you nicely 5 times until they finally yell at you and you don't listen until they yell.
Why are you so mean to me? It's like, well, I was nice to you 5 fucking times and you didn't do the thing I asked you to do.
Yeah. So sometimes the bad thing needs to happen because you're not learning from the nice part. You're not sitting there trying to think, well, how can I be a nicer person? How can I help someone else in this world, until you've gone through it. And then all of a sudden you're starting charities and you're raising money and you're doing fundraisers and you're helping other people. And that's why, because you couldn't just do it on your own. You needed that inspiration. It doesn't mean it's good. And we're glad you're suffering. Knock it off.
You all came in knowing how to drive the car.
Yeah.
There'd be no learning. There'd be no experience that was needed.
Yeah.
You come to a place in your life where you think you've got it all figured out, and all of a sudden the car runs out of gas, or a tire goes flat, or the engine won't turn over. This is what grows you. You come to a place in your life where everything seems to be going the way that you feel that it should be going, you the human.
Yeah.
But in reality, when stuff breaks down, that's when strength grows.
Yeah.
True.
And what about somebody T-bones you, then you're paralyzed? Okay. Then all of a sudden you have to try to learn forgiveness. You have to learn humility. You have to learn how to reach self-empowerment again, and all these valuable lessons. They're not fun, but
if there's one thing that your listeners take away, I hope that it's this. Nothing happens to you. It happens for you.
Good. Sometimes it's not fun, people.
I really like
but
that.
remember, we're all human beings,
I like
and it's
that
only
too.
temporary. We're just playing the parts in a Shakespearean tragedy sometimes, but
Eric wants to interject something.
please,
Eric says, where did we get the idea that things should be right, wrong, good, bad? The soul doesn't look at it like that. The soul doesn't say, oh, I'm going to have a good day because the sun's out. The soul doesn't look at this person's a good person, that person's a bad person. The soul looks at it as neutral. The soul is energy.
Yeah.
The human conditioning and condition, he says, is what makes the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you've said, Eric, there's no right or wrong. Everything is a lesson.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Jesus just confirmed that, by the way.
Yeah, all right. Y'all are on the same page. What will happen to the different souls God has created when the ascension process is finalized? Will they have to merge with source and become one and again? And if that's true, why?
It's funny because Jesus actually has a sense of humor, and what he just said to me, it's what's on the shampoo bottle: wash, rinse, repeat. You go through it again. You wash, you rinse, you repeat until
So when we ascend to the 4D, 5D, etc., what happens to our souls?
So the souls that don't ascend, wash, rinse, repeat. You do it again.
I gotcha.
So that's basically, once the soul goes up, it goes up in energy, it goes up in understanding, it goes up in dimension. He says, let me show you something. This is your world that you live in, right? The physical, tangible earth that we're here. Then you go up and you go up. It's a replica, but not of your world. And so you're living at a much more evolved being.
Yeah.
Does that make
Fascinating.
sense? Like, did I articulate that good enough? Because I feel like my whole body lit up when I said that.
Wow. I thought it was glowing. No, but I mean, I could see that. You got this holographic earth ascending and ascending and ascending from one dimension to the next, and some are on this earth, some are still on that earth, and they have to do the rinse and repeat.
Yes, that's exactly it. Oh, I
Did you get that?
If God has,
Did you get that?
I'm trying to imagine. She's saying a holographic Earth. They don't mean literally other Earths. It's more of a perception based thing, right?
No, they're saying that there are. It's like jumping timelines. It's like
Ah.
Earth in this timeline in this dimension, and Earth in this dimension, and Earth in this dimension, and there are more evolved people are on the Earth in this dimension up here, and the lesser evolved people are on the Earth in this dimension down here, which makes sense. It's like it makes sense to a certain extent, right? Because
Well, but we're all cohabiting on the same physical plane.
I mean, I don't know if well.
Because I know for sure there are more evolved people than me and less evolved people than me.
Well, yeah,
right
but
here.
it might be
Yeah.
within like a range though. It might
Okay.
be like this is the range of people who are on this earth, and maybe like you're in the middle of that range, right? I don't know. But it
Could
could all be
be.
the same. I mean, like you could also say like how many people in the world, like think about like walking down the street in like a major city or something. How many people are you around that you literally don't even see? Right? Or like you're just like at any sort of busy place and you're just kind of like doing your thing. You're surrounded by hundreds or thousands of people. You don't even see them. You couldn't tell anyone what they look like. You don't have conversation. Like there's no interaction. There's no exchange. And so
But
maybe that's what they're talking about.
that's a lot of just not paying attention, because why should I? I've got we can't pay attention to everybody.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I'm saying like insofar as, like our lived experience, for lack of a better term, like those people don't exist. Those people are not in our world at all.
NPCs.
Yeah, but I mean, are they NPCs? No, like they have lives, they have families, they probably think critically about things, but like we are existing on completely separate planes, and that's not to say one is better or worse. It's just we're not in the same place.
So when I've encountered someone, then let's say I can tell we are not in the same zone, and that has happened several times, and I'm sure you've had the same experience where you're talking to someone and you just realize they're in their own making, their world is their own make, they're way over here, there's no relation. And you usually just kind of go, okay, that's nice. So for me it kind of feels like I understand the imaginatively I can understand what they're talking about, and to me it's all happening here at the same time.
Yeah, I mean it very well may be.
Okay.
I think we're kind of saying the same thing.
Maybe so. And it could just be like how I need to imagine it to understand it and grok it in fullness, if you will.
But it does make sense though. It's like, you're going to align with the people you align with more closely. And like, they're just going to be people that you don't. And that's, not a judgment. It's just saying you don't.
You know what really pissed me off is those super flighty people that think they're so evolved. It's like, what if they really are? And I'm mad at it because I'm not up there.
No, but they're not. And they're not. It's like they're like, anyway.
Yeah. I'm just too grounded, babe.
created souls in order to experience itself have in the end have to merge themselves with God. Wait, if God has created souls in order to experience itself, do they have to merge themselves with God? And then what's the point of enduring hardship, sickness, rape, wars, being murdered, etc.? So in other words, if they had to do all this experimenting, go through experiences so God can experience themselves, and in the end they merge themselves with God, then what's the point?
The point is the experience.
Hardships.
The experience.
Well, again, we spoke to that. We talked to the point of hardships so that the soul can learn.
Yeah. Okay. if the souls have to merge with God when ascension is complete, will God create a new source? God is source, right?
God is source.
Will he have to
You
create
can't-
another version of itself?
Yeah, you can't speak to this in human terms. You have to think of it as in dimensions, as in existence, dimensions of existence. If you're here and you're experiencing this here, and then you evolve or ascend or whatever word you want to put to it, then you exist on this level and it becomes a different experience. Experiences never end. That's the part the human can't understand. It's not like one day you get there and you're laying around smoking a big fat stogie with God, he says, and, cracking open a beer and watching, football. He says, it's not like that. There's always more to go to.
Yeah. Everything, people have a hard time understanding that things can have been existed forever and can possibly never end. That whole infinicy.
Well,
things being infinite is hard to imagine because we are born and we die, and so we think everything's linear, and it's really not. It's just I don't think we have the vocabulary to really understand it.
We don't, or the bandwidth up here, because the first thing Jesus is showing me is a circle. Yeah. Life is a circle. People try to live life linearly, like in a line. I do this, I do this, I do this. No, babe, Eric says, no, babe, you're going to repeat that shit over and over and over. And Jesus says, and then you're going to go to the next level and you're going to repeat that shit over and over on that level.
It's like your wagon wheel analogy, Eric, that, we're the hub, there's the oversoul, the higher self, and all the spokes are the different lives, past, present, future, and then you are rolling in the wet mud and creating that linear track. But then again, if you ascend, you go to the next wagon wheel, the next, and the next, and the next.
Yeah.
Is peace on earth possible?
Do you know what that reminds me
or
of?
will it always be
hang on
a personal state of?
Go ahead.
This is my nerd coming out. It reminds me of the video games from the 80s when it wasn't like so much a story or an adventure. A lot of the video games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and the like, it was the same shit: Centipede, asteroids, Space Invaders. I was not an Atari kid at all. It was like all kind of the same thing, but then the colors would change a little bit and it looked a little more intense. Things would speed up. Maybe there would be more, but it was the same thing. It's more asteroids, but there were still asteroids. You didn't get anything else. Sometimes maybe a new alien ship would come through, but it just like every level, it just got harder and faster and harder and faster until you snapped, and some people would finally play it through and build it and finish the game. But that's kind of what it reminds me. It just never, it doesn't, like she keeps saying, it's the same thing. It's just more of it. I'm like, oh yeah, just like Pac-Man. You get to a certain point, you're like, I can't do this anymore.
We're in a giant fuck off game of Tetris.
Yeah.
And the shapes are just going to come down faster. And great. We're in a never ending game of Tetris.
Ugh, I don't like it.
I mean, what if our reality inspired? Like, think about this. What if Tetris was inspired by our spiritual reality? And Tetris is a manifestation of what it's of the spiritual experience. It's
that could be said of anything. There's a struggle, there's a puzzle, there's a goal, there's an objective, there's a villain, there's someone to help. All the elements are there in just about any of these games, except for Tetris is more of a puzzle kind of thing. But
Tetris is more of an inner journey of the soul.
Yeah.
Peace on earth is possible within each and every individual. Peace happens collectively when the individuals meet people where they're at and they are met where they're at.
Back to that. Yeah.
Understanding.
Was the impact on your life as Jesus meant to manifest itself into a religion and last as long as it has? These people are so brilliant, I swear.
Yeah. It was not meant to be a religion. Christianity, Christ, was not meant to be the dogma that man has turned it into. I feel, as I share this with you, that at this current time, my mission was lost. And it is lost in the dogma. It's lost in the
Wow.
I'm sorry to say,
punitive.
I'm glad he
It's
said
lost
that.
in the, you do it this way, you do it.
I would be like, Jesus, did the Jews hijack you to use you for nefarious purposes? This is my question. I would be like, where do you bring on the? I'd be like, can you just tell me one thing? Did the Jews hijack Jesus to use Jesus to control all of us?
Yeah,
Just
but
tell me this one thing, Jesus.
they don't accept Jesus. Like, what, isn't it the other religions?
No. The Jews. This is what Adam Green says. In paraphrase, I'm going to screw this up because I said this is what Adam Green said, so it's not probably but much different than what I'm about to say. But essentially, the Jews use Jesus as a way to get the Gentiles to worship a Jewish God, so that they could still control the Gentiles and they could still impose Jewish stuff on the Gentiles, because, like, you know, the Torah or whatever is like the Old Testament, and so like they're still trying to impose Jewish stuff on us, but they are still the chosen people that are separate, that are above us.
Okay.
Something like that is what it is. What it is.
Something Alan Green said. Okay, interesting.
Adam Green. Don't
Adam
disrespect
Green.
Adam Green.
Sorry.
We're not Adam Green disrespecters on this channel, Jennifer.
I'm not disrespecting. I'm just like something he said. Okay.
No, I mean his whole
was.
thing is that the Jews created Jesus in order to control the Gentiles, and so Christians are essentially worshiping a Jewish God, and this whole Judeo-Christian thing, it was crafted by the Jews to get people to worship a Jewish God while not being Jewish themselves.
Okay.
For worldwide domination. Obviously, YouTube, I don't believe any of this. Adam Green is really a crackpot, and I disavow everything I just said.
I think I know
I'm just
who
explaining.
He was the guy that used to be on Tim Pool, right?
No. I don't know if he's ever been on Tim Pool. No, he's been on my channel a couple times.
Oh, okay.
I know who you're talking about. He's very tall and blonde and looks like a Viking.
Nice. Yeah.
And
we're all allowed to have our opinion.
And he went with big tech in the divorce. And now I can never talk to him again, apparently. Well, that's not coming from him. That's coming from other places. But anyway.
It's interesting. It's no different, no crazier than any other conspiracy I've heard. So
I mean, but he's actually got it like you might actually be interested in listening to his stuff, because he's not just like out there spouting a conspiracy. He has analyzed like line for line in the Bible. Like he's like done in depth. He's got all these videos of rabbis. Like he does basically, Adam Green does what I do with socialists with the Jews.
Oh, interesting.
In order to extrapolate out this Jesus thing, this idea that he has.
Yeah, but I still think Jesus existed. I don't think he's an invention.
See,
yeah.
I think he did too, but I think that so Adam Green doesn't think he existed. I think Jesus existed. I think Jesus was a real person. I think the Christ consciousness is a real thing. Yeah. But I also think that that the idea of the myth of Jesus being hijacked, because like Jesus can be a real person, and also there can be a myth that was created and exploited.
Oh, sure. And they're not the only ones to do it, but maybe they were the first ones. I don't know. That's interesting.
No, I mean, like, but that's it. It's and he's also not saying like all the Jews did this. He's saying like a very specific group of Jews did this.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, it's not. He's not saying everyone. He's like, but you know, I'm speaking colloquially, you know. And so if we're hearing from Jesus, Jesus is saying, I never meant any of this shit, man. Like you guys hijacked my beliefs and like my teachings and all
and
this
the
stuff.
message. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think everybody has, and it's all for power, and it doesn't matter who it was or what they call themselves now. Whatever religion, whatever anything, even little tiny cult leaders that only have about 100 people around them still do shit in Jesus's names. True. Oh yeah, you're right, Dragon Water. That's the Adam. Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of the other one. We don't talk about him. He's not relevant at all in any way.
We're here in DISENRAGE. We're not worried about them.
I haven't even thought about Krigler in fucking years, man.
Me either. Yeah, wow.
That way, or my religion's better than your religion. I never stood for that. I never wanted that. If you look at the foundation of all big worldly religions, you will see the common denominators. That's the truth, not the pomp and circumstance.
Absolutely. I think that humans tend to weaponize things, and in many ways they have weaponized religion. The Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, things like that. I mean, it's Salem witch trials. It's a shame. And I see it even in a day-to-day in my personal life and in others. Like one of the mediums was a lifelong Catholic. And when they found out what she was doing, they said, I'm sorry, you have to leave. She'd been there for 20 years. So wait, I told that medium, wait, what's the point of, would Jesus do that? Huh? Or they'll say, oh, you can't talk to Jesus. Only the Pope can, Elisa. Oh, I think Jesus is cool with us having this little chat. And then I remember another time, one of my daughter's best friends died, overdose on something. And I was just so upset for the family because I knew them very well, very religious. And, I went over to their house. I wanted to go to the memorial
dog hug.
service. And
Yeah,
they
he's
knew
my
that
hugger.
Oh, he gave a hug. Oh, buddy, you're on the internet. He has no idea because he's just being a dog. Oh,
My other
Say
one's trying
hello.
to get up on this side. She's like, I want hugs too. I always get oof. Now they're gonna fight on me. I always get puppy hugs from him. He always he's getting tall enough where he can stand up and almost hug me just standing up. He's my little sugar bear. That's Bodie.
man. I'm about to cry because I was like, one of the things that's been hardest for me is like, I'm never gonna have both my dogs sitting in my lap again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone cried. It made me cry though. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
That's okay. It's part of the process.
channel, I'm not channel, but whatever. And they said, well, you can't go with us because we need you to stay at the house and watch our giant dogs because there have been some home invasions. Okay, so little old 60-something-year-old Elisa, I'm supposed to protect the dogs from home invasion? I knew it was clearly about. So, I see a lot of that going on. And particularly in the Baptist religions, not all, but also Catholic, a lot of them. So what's with that?
People fear what
Not
they don't
inclusive.
know.
Aren't you supposed to include everyone and
People
love everyone?
fear what they don't know. People fear what they don't know.
Yeah.
People will look at other people, and you know the saying, people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones?
Yeah.
Everybody lives in a glass house. The stones you throw will come back as shrapnel within you.
Yeah.
Oh
Ooh, I love
God.
that. Well,
Ain't that the truth?
That's
everyone
heavy.
lives in a glass house, and the stones you throw will come back as shrapnel. Wow.
That's heavy. You are literally the glass
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
So true.
I just feel like, what would Jesus do? And Jesus would not have done those different things at all.
No, I would never, and I don't care who you lay with.
Yeah, of course. When you were here as Jesus, did you also have to overcome like insecurities, fear, ego? I'm sure as a young boy.
Absolutely. I had the whole gamut of emotions. Where I found solace and comfort was no surprise. I went to the desert and spoke to the Father, my Father.
Yeah,
In silence and stillness is where you will find peace.
exactly. Did you meet other souls who were crucified on the same day as you?
Not necessarily.
Okay. How old were you when you actually died? The Emmanuel, maybe.
They say I was 33,
Oh, okay.
but who knows? There's no such thing as time.
Ah! Yes!
What was your dad
Yes!
joke?
Yes! 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 Jesus win! Jesus win! Time isn't real! That was the best. That just
Happy.
came out of nowhere. That just came out of nowhere. We almost got through a 4-part interview when we hadn't got to the time isn't real part yet. We got there, Jennifer. It's very exciting. Time is not real. Jesus confirmed.
All right, tap dance. Go ahead.
Let's listen one more time. Let's do
Oh,
that.
come on. You
The
just gotta
Emmanuel,
keep
maybe.
grinding it
They say I was 33,
Oh, okay.
but who knows? There's no such thing as time.
Well, that's true. What was your dad, Joseph, like? And did you meet your biological father in the afterlife? In other words, a sperm donor, I guess? Or was there one? So
Yeah.
confusing.
He's looking at me like with his head to the side. What are you asking me?
Who
Oh,
was
they're asking.
your daddy?
What was Joseph like?
Joseph was a man of honor. Joseph was a man of integrity. And Joseph was a man who taught me a lot about being human and a lot about courage and a lot about integrity and truth. Joseph was the embodiment of God.
Oh, that's
That's sweet.
beautiful. From your
Aw.
spiritual perspective, why do you think there's continuous turmoil in the lands you grew up in as Jesus? Yeah, why? Centuries and centuries of turmoil in the Middle East.
That whole area has the history of it perpetuates itself. The energy lays in the land, it stays there, and then it is reborn again with each generation. So you have the human component of adopting the next generation, the former generation's hate and belief, and then the land perpetuates it. We stand for this. This is ours, and then it becomes one big cyclical. Again, there's that circle. So in the context of that circle, we must learn to take a break and then continue on.
So can I comment on the circle thing?
I'm thinking about the main service.
Go ahead.
Something that, and thank you, by the way, Night's Light, and the two fans that I have in the chat that are defending me.
It's always with love, Jennifer. Time is real with love.
Anyway, and one of the most sacred shapes in paganism is the spiral, and you'll often see just it represented in a flat way, but also if you take a circle and you're just going in a circle. I wonder if I can use something that I don't want to stretch. Hold on, maybe this will work. So if you're taking like you have a circle and you're going in a circle, wash, rinse, repeat, like he was talking about. But if you have some upward motivation, it doesn't always mean your cycles are going to end. It might mean that you're ready for that next level, which turns into a spiral because you're circling, but you're going up. You're making progress.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things about a spiral. A downward spiral, there's a reason we call it that. That's regression. And we all have that. That's okay. But also going clockwise is think of it as the direction of ascension or creation, and counterclockwise is descending and destruction. So when like as a Reiki master, when I do healing work, I always work on a chakra to get it going clockwise because sometimes they're going the wrong way and we feel that tightening and that verklempt thing going. And so once you get it rotating in the right direction, it's almost like putting your spine into place. It lines up and now it's creating and flowing outwardly again.
Cool.
So that's the spiral. That's why I wanted to kind of bring that up a little bit.
We work on the land a lot because we need to revoke curses and get rid of earthbound spirits, have them go to the light, and work on their ancient burial grounds sometimes involved. And there's bad mojo, like instances of torture or ceremonial sacrifice. There's so much to work on, and I think that a lot of these older places, like the Middle East,
hang on. True karmic circle of life. Some call it time. Aha.
Thank you,
Jennifer. Time spiral. Jennifer affirmation.
That's right. They can both be true at the same time. That's what's beautiful about it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna let you have this one for right now, Jennifer, because Jesus.
Oh wait.
Jesus is on my side.
I just need to put that up for a moment.
I wouldn't say Jennifer is vindicated. I would say that Jesus is on my side, and I'm okay with being on the side of Jesus. And Jennifer can have her little piece of the pie. We can both have a slice of pie.
It's all good.
There's enough for all. We do not live in an environment of scarcity.
There is no scarcity. There's plenty of pie for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Accumulated so much of that bad mojo, and I see a lot of Scandinavian countries. It takes longer to work on their land too.
Mm-hmm. The Middle East, the wording Eric is using is toxic. on all
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah,
Not to
Yo,
say
so true.
the
Yep.
people there aren't good, or there's, not a place to be, or you shouldn't go there. He's just saying there's a lot of toxicity that absorbed into the land.
Yeah. I thought about
I mean, listen, like to be real for a second, I absolutely feel like everything related to Israel is incredibly toxic, and that's not to excuse the other countries in the region. I'm not, because I kind of like don't have an opinion. I don't feel great about, like, I don't like personally like Islam. I think I'm very off put by the whole thing. But like, so but like, just like all the energy that I experience around like literally every single thing related to Israel, everything is just like, I just don't want to be around it at all, like in any way. It's just like, it's too much. It's too overwhelming. People are too vicious about it. It's like, this is just ridiculous on like a whole new level.
Yeah, it really has stirred the beehive, hasn't it? I haven't seen people this like worked up over a foreign country. They didn't even get this worked up over what's going on over in Russia and and all that. And it's like, but boy, as soon as Israel's brought up, it's whoa, 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 whoa. They're screaming and yelling and protesting, and there's people that are they're losing friendships over this. And it's like, they're not okay. First of all, with love to the world, however, we need to take care of our friendships and our families here, and you can't let something that's happening on the opposite side of the world that you literally don't know everything about and have no control over disrupting your lives and your peace of mind and your relationships this badly. That is just, please get over yourself with love.
It's like people actually lose their mind over this and they get sucked into it. And it is like watching, I mean, like, I even think, like, you know what? I actually kind of came to respect Brett Weinstein a little bit more than I had been, because, he put out a podcast episode the other day where he was basically talking about like Konstantin Kisin calling for censorship. He's like, what the fuck happened? Like, I knew these people. I think these people actually believed that, like, back in the day. And he was all very confused about like what happened to these people, that they understood free speech like 2 years ago, and now they no longer understand it like at all. And he was like, I think it was real when when they were like that, but like, what is going on? But I've seen this with person after Jordan Peterson just did this on Joe Rogan. Literally, Jordan Peterson went on Joe Rogan and called everyone a psychopath if they didn't agree with him, basically on Israel.
Oh,
like,
dear.
You are literally a psychopath if you don't agree with me on this issue with this country. I'm like, bro, like,
Wow.
it's so irresponsible for a fucking
polarizing.
Psychologist. It's so irresponsible to say that. It's like, I can't even begin to, like, I have words. I have words that I will not say right this second, because I don't want to get banned on YouTube or nothing. But like,
it's just very interesting how that country of all countries is so polarizing. And even for people who aren't even religious.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't, what is it about that country? But always watch when wars happen. What changes? People they start wars, the government start wars to cause change, and it's not what you necessarily think the change is. It's like, look what changes in that country. For us, we got the TSA and a whole lot of our freedoms taken away. And every time a war happens, it looks like more freedoms get stripped. So just pay attention to that and quit getting mad at each other.
Yeah, this is part of the reason why I just like pulled myself out of everything except for like what I'm doing, because I'm like, I cannot deal with this. Like, even if I'm more sympathetic to this side, even that has gotten so vitriolic that I'm just like, this is not even a useful thing for me to be a part of. This is crazy.
Right.
You all need to settle down.
You get sucked up into a perspective that these people have, even though you're like, look, I don't mean to, you're getting lumped into something that you may not want to be lumped into either. And that happens with most issues these days, unfortunately.
Well, I don't mind that so much, because it's kind of like, listen, if I say over and over and over again that I don't agree with Nick Fuentes on everything, but I believe he has the right to speak, and I think he says some smart things sometimes, it's like, if they're going to lump me into all that because I say that, I'm kind of like, you know what? You're no fucking better. You can go the fuck away too. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm allowed to be friends with people I disagree with. I'm allowed to interact and have conversations with people I disagree with. I'm allowed to be spicy on Twitter when the whole point of fucking Twitter is to be spicy and to say edgy things. Like everyone calm down, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. Brett will appear to be on one side. People will flock to him. Then he'll program. Yeah, you're actually probably right about that. Like, Brett Weinstein it's a trick. It's a trap. He's trying to convince us that he's reasonable, and then someone's going to give him the talk. and all of a sudden he's going to be like, yeah, maybe Konstantin Kisin has a point here. Maybe everyone's psychotic except for us. Like, all right, bro.
I'm gonna go use a little
Escape.
goddess room. I'll be right back.
All right.
Work on the Middle East land in general, but I don't know. I think it would be too much for me energetically, or maybe even dangerous.
Eric says, don't do that.
Okay. Have you read different religious texts? Jesus, of course, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. And do you have any opinion on them?
I don't read them. I understand them. I live them. They're all the same.
They're all
Okay.
the same.
Growing up in the Bible Belt, I've seen and heard be more like Jesus as a slogan tons of times. What do you think being like you, Jesus, should involve? That's a wonderful question.
Compassion.
Yeah.
Love for each other, love for self.
Yeah.
The willingness to explore and the willingness to say, I don't know. And the willingness to be able to be the positive for other people.
Yeah. Beautiful. What do you think of the cross as a symbol for your message when it was, I believe, the worst day of your life?
Mm-hmm. It's the intersection where worlds collide.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I was of this world, and then I became of this world.
Oh, that is
wow.
so cool.
Okay.
Did you have a favorite cultural custom you were raised with or that you taught your children?
I wouldn't say a cultural custom, but I would say the 10 Commandments are not taught, they are inherited. We understand as humans, we don't murder. We don't need to teach the 10 Commandments. We need to teach how to be more self-loving and more compassionate to ourselves as it reverberates out to each other. So I always taught self-love in a non-egotistical way.
Okay. You know, when I was growing up, we always said every morning in elementary school, at least, our Father who art in heaven. We also did the Pledge of Allegiance. Do you think we should bring those back on a voluntary basis, and let people say whatever they want to say in their own religion, or even think to themselves every day?
You have free will. And so if one wants to recite this and another doesn't, there's free will. You can have a moment of silence. Stillness and silence are really what matters, not the words that you utter. It's what's in your heart when you are still and you are silent. There's nothing wrong with having a moment of observation, a moment of stillness, if you will. How twisted can it be when we can't stand in stillness? We live in a world where everybody goes. We teach our kids to go. And then what do? You pump them with medication because they go. Why not have a moment of stillness? That's all.
I believe we should bring some of that back. Maybe not saying the Lord's Prayer, but if you want to say it, I mean, and then somebody else can say their prayer or their moment of silence, etc. But for some reason, we've developed to become a country that's not freedom of religion, but freedom from religion, where you're not allowed to do it. You're not allowed to put a cross up in your yard. You're not allowed to have to display your faith in God, Jesus, Muhammad, etc.
Stillness. Find stillness in your schools, find stillness in your systems, and you will find God in your heart.
If you were Jesus in our modern world today, I love this one, would you smoke weed?
Ha!
Of course I would.
No.
Yeah!
We made a lot of people happy. Growing up without a mother and an almost absent father, I had a really close relationship with you, starting already when I was really young, and I always looking for your voice inside of me. How can I stay in a constant relationship with you here in the 3D and understand how fully how to follow your inner guidance, your messages of peace, love, and freedom? How can I learn to be led fully by your Christ consciousness? Ooh, great last question.
I want you to think of it like this. Think of your human experience of what it's like to love someone. When you love someone, you're present for them. When you love someone, you're compassionate towards them. When you love someone, you are giving them your time and your attention. You are spending quality time with them. You are doing little acts of service for them. The same is true with building a relationship with me. Fall madly in love with me so that you and I can become one.
Awesome. So I have a bunch of other questions that we'll have to do another time. It's not part of the community questions, but some are related to Joseph, telling Joseph basically, and others from this one woman, Angie, questions on the blood. I thought would reveal many things concerning detail of his spiritual and physical life. Wanted to ask questions how to understand the universe in correlation with us as humans, such as the macrocosm and the microcosm. I had a lot more, such as vibrations and a thought, but it was not concerning the life of Jesus itself, but only around it. So, so I can do that later. Let's wait a minute. Yeah. So we'll do that another time. There's way too many of them. It's a whole nother part to itself, which we can combine with the interview of Joseph, because I don't really have very many for his channeling for some reason. All right. Well, thank you, Jesus. And thank you, Veronica. You guys check her out. Thank you, Eric, for your help. And also your wisdom. Gosh, it's just amazing. Any last words that you would like to express, Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus. Final statement.
Just remember me in stillness and silence.
Okay, we'll do. And what do you want us to do this Christmas?
Huh.
It's not all about presents, obviously.
I want you to reflect on what's in your heart, and I want you to reflect on if your life is a direct reflection of what's in your heart. Don't have judgment on it. Don't look at it as good, bad, right, or wrong, because I will promise you this. Your life is exactly what is in your heart.
How should we incorporate you or honor you during the Christmas holidays, since it was primarily created around the...
It was not created around Jesus' birthday's in February.
Remember me?
No, he said March.
And
March.
remember what it took
March.
for me to be here. The adversities, the problems, the troubles. Remember that, because that is the human journey. But also remember that I arrived and I came above it. And so will you.
There's hope for us yet. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica. Again.
All right. Well, that is the end of the Jesus episode. I thought that was a really good channeling experience. I really enjoyed that quite a bit.
It was really lovely. I agree completely. I really enjoy that medium, and she has such a lovely touch with I'm going to call it a craft, because, it's not something you just can always do. Sometimes you do have to refine it and hone it and develop it. And even if it's natural, but I think she's got a lovely touch with it. And I really enjoyed just hearing from the Christ consciousness, kind of confirming things that, I think you and I have voiced in the past, and things that just personal things that I've thought. It's like, yeah, it's don't worry, be happy, just relax, man. and just the personal journey. And I think what we hear a lot from when we get channelers and mediums is that we as humans are so caught in our own knots. We're not just letting the experiences happen. And they keep telling us it's a lot simpler than you're making it out to be. You're trying too hard to complicate and make shit up. And it's just relax and go step on grass, hug a tree and I'm there, kind of a thing.
No, it's so true. It's so true. Cool. Well, we're going to I think I need to pick something out for next week. I don't know exactly what that thing is going to be, but I will pick something out.
Yeah, I know. I guess it is. That's right. It was my turn this week, but we got off a week. So yeah, we'll figure something out. There's always plenty of ideas around.
We also have to figure something out for movie night, because we have discovered that The Stand is indeed 6 hours long.
The thing is,
which I didn't think it was, but apparently it is.
I'm not sure that's right, because when I looked it up on IMDb, it looked like it was about an hour and a half for 2 episodes, right? It's 2 parts.
That was definitely the full movie, though. I scrolled through it. It was definitely the full movie. So I think we might need to figure out something else. But you know what? Listen, I have a never-ending array of movies we can pull from. So we'll find something fun. We'll do Karlyn's. Maybe we'll do Karlyn's surprise movie spectacular. Maybe I won't even tell you.
Then
we're just
that's
gonna show
on
up.
you.
I'm just gonna show up, be like, we're watching this movie.
Okay, then I won't worry about trivia, but you can always suggest something too if you want.
I'm gonna come up with a movie. I'm gonna come up with a movie. It's gonna be good. We're gonna do a good one.
And then after, wait a minute. didn't mean to do that. Hit the wrong button. I'm glad I'm still here. Almost went away. We have May coming up. So guess what that is?
What's that?
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, fucking Star Wars month.
Yes, Star Wars.
Fine.
So we're completing the Star Wars trilogy. Do you realize we are coming up?
Actually, you know what? I like the last one, so I don't even mind that we're doing Star Wars. I don't even care.
Yeah, well, we're to Return of the Jedi, the
Yep.
last of the originals that are the best. And then we have I usually do sci-fi celebration in May, but I do have a birthday celebration that will be taking place. We're going to celebrate Sam's birthday, and so he's got a movie choice. And I'm kind of torn if I want to do this because June is Pride Month, right? So I actually picked out some gender benders.
Gay movies for Pride Month. I don't mind that at all. I like gay movies.
Well, not gay movies. I actually was looking at Junior, the Danish Girl, Tootsie, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Maybe. That's
okay. I can get on board with the Danish Girl.
That movie is so good. It's so
I love that. Eddie Redmayne is so good in that movie.
He is. He really is. So anyhow, but here's my conundrum is we've got May and June, and I want to celebrate the beautiful life and career of someone whose name just totally freaking left me. Hold on. I feel really bad. I hate when this happens. I get the worst brain farts sometimes. I swear. Val Kilmer. Jesus.
Oh yeah. Oh, we should do The Doors. Can we watch The Doors, please?
So I put a question in the movie night message board and said, "Tell me what your favorite movies are from Val Kilmer," and I'll put it in a poll.
The Doors.
So The Doors is, I think, his best performance.
Yeah.
And I just love him and everything. I'm not interested in some of the 80s cheese because I kind of want to honor his more mature film period and acting period. I was looking at like Willow is one of my favorites of his. Love Willow, and I was kind of been wanting to do Willow anyway, so I was thinking of just pulling a Jennifer card and going, we're doing Willow. But The Doors is his strongest performance. I've only seen it once in the theater, and it has stuck with me forever. It was that good.
We can watch both, Jennifer. We can do both. We can do Willow and The Doors. We can. In fact, why don't we just do the fucking Doors this week? Why don't we do The Doors this week?
You want to do Doors on Sunday for your birthday?
Yeah,
okay.
Why not? I actually love that movie. I legitimately love that movie. I've seen it a lot. I like have it on like the old school like DVD. It came in a silver case and everything.
Yes.
And so Val Kilmer is so fucking good in that movie. Like it's just like it's a great movie, and I feel like a lot of people may not have seen it because it's a little bit older.
Well, I suppose it came. I think I was still in high school when it came out.
Yeah, well, that means it's older, Jennifer. We're old, whether we like it or not. We're fucking old, and that's just like
it's not old.
It's sorry. Like it's just an older movie. Okay, there's no shame. It is what it is.
Whatever. This is when I'm on your side. I'm like, yeah, but there's no time. Nothing is old.
Yeah, time isn't real. There is no age. I feel younger than I did when I was in my 20s. So whatever, I guess.
I wish I was this smart when I was in my 20s. Ugh.
Yeah, for real. Like hindsight is 2020. I would have done so many things differently in my 20s. I probably would have had more sex and not less sex. I would have done many different decisions would have been made. I'll just say that.
My figure back in when I was in my 20s was deadly. I'm like, why didn't I take advantage of that more? But also I would have probably made some smarter financial choices.
Oh yeah, I would have done that too, like for sure. But you know what? Whatever. I mean, that's life, I suppose.
It is what it is, man. So yeah, we can do that. Actually kills two birds with one stone. So yeah, we can do The Doors on Sunday, and that's gonna be great. I'm really, like I said, I've only seen it in the theater, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I had an amazing night after that, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Inspired by The Doors, which is a hypersexual movie.
Well, because of how it's filmed, you feel high at the end of that movie because there's just a little bit.
I'm gonna do mushrooms and watch The Doors. That's gonna be great.
I don't know.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm never doing mushrooms around you people. That's a horrible idea. But don't have any expectation. But that would be fun.
It was crazy because we were like, when people walking out of the theater were like kind of just doing this because everybody felt just a little dizzy and a little stoned, and it was crazy. It was masterful film. So, all right, cool, that'll work.
Cool. So we're doing The Doors on Sunday. It's going to be great. Make sure you guys are in the Discord and come and join us for that. And maybe we can convince Mac B to do a 2-parter for The Stand in his movie night, since that seems, I feel like this would be like right up Mac B's alley, honestly, to watch The Stand.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe that'd be cool. Like I said, it's that one thing I found was 6 hours long. And so that was crazy. Speaking of Mac B, let me see what he's got coming up. The following Monday is going to be, I believe, Yellow Submarine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that goes great with The Doors.
It kind of does.
Unironically, it goes great with The Doors.
Awesome. Double dose of some drug-fueled rock bands.
Hey, listen, man, it was 420 the other day, so I guess this is going to be our week of weed, whatever.
Yeah, literally Stone Jesus Day, and he just admitted he would have smoked pot if he was here.
Yeah,
so it all works out.
So we have to do it for Jesus.
Smoke for Jesus.
Yeah, watch these movies for Jesus. Enjoy ourselves. All right, that's all we have for tonight. Good episode. We'll come up with something fun for next week. I will come up with an idea, and I will see you guys. Tomorrow. I'm gonna go to bed early.
Go to bed.
I'm going to bed.
All right,
guys. You're gonna go make dinner?
I'm gonna go make dinner. Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy, Jennifer. Thank you for streaming, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.